Yo, what do you do, guys? It is your boy, Leo Mookie here, back with you with another new chapter of Code Armor, The Fires of Geass. Yeah, it's been a while since I've basically made a chapter for this series. Honestly, that's kind of my own fault. I wanted to release that at the next chapter as soon as I could, but I completely forgot to be honest. There are so many other stories I want to do, and I've also been reading as well, that I completely forgot about this one. So now I'm finally giving it to you guys. Any rate, let's go through that of a pretty necessary recap, to be honest. In the last part, Jean, alongside that of Rusty, traveled to that of Japan, now known as Area 11, to gain information about the once prestige and honorable nation. As splitting up, Jean soon runs into that of the canon event about with that of Nina Einstein getting that of, assaulted and traumatized by that of Japanese people, causing her to have that of xenophobia and fear of anybody that wasn't Britannian. Jean basically stopping this for that of various reasons, which even hoping that his words would also convince her to not put aside that of her ideas and wanting to help those in need. Also, during their recon in the few months, they've also gained that of many supporters to that of the Xylon, people from that of Britannia who is done with that of Britannia's social Darwinism ideals, those from areas who finally found a way off from their, deplorable and sad lives and now wanting to start anew, and to those who are willing to help out that of on the Xylon as well, with even Kate taking her armor core and destroying that of multiple thought elevators across that of the world, putting at least a damper on that of Charles and V2's plan, with now Jean heading to that of Ashford Academy as he's to attend. So, with all that said, let's get into this. Shall we, guys? Chapter 2, Armor Core versus Knightmare. The 3 months have now gone by. Through those 3 months, the Xylon has gained a lot more support and a lot more people to help out as well. Not only that, during Jean's time at that of Ashford Academy, on the other hand, has become somewhat, alright to be honest. And somewhat annoying too. From the annoying parts, mainly from those who, since he's basically the heir and also the current head of the Vargas family, many people basically cozy up to him because of his noble title, as they want to become friends because of that. However, Jean is not so blind to that kind of fraternization and kindness, only wanting him for that of his family name and family name alone, as it annoys the hell out of him, and he wants nothing to do with those kind of people. Second are those who basically discriminate over him because of his mixed breed heritage, because of his tan skin, as he admits that his mother was from that of the Middle East, mainly Afghanistan. Because of this, even though he may be a noble and also that of have the title of Duke, many people thought that they get the right to basically, discriminate over his ass because he's, a half-breed in their eyes. As there are some people that have nothing against half-breeds, while then there are some that basically despise them, calling them the impure Britannians. And those who try to physically assault while trying to pass it off as accidents. Let's just say some basically didn't get away pretty easily. Even though Jean has never been in that of a real fight, this is the same guy that from his other world basically planned on joining that of the military and was and just finished up basic combat military training for the Air Force just to become that of a drone engineer. So you can basically imagine what happened to those people who thought that they can just get away with attacking him like that. And those are the parents who thought that they could, threaten him when he basically brought up his noble title and also on how prestige his life is, and even if they even went to court with him, they would still lose given on how much money he has after all. So yeah, to be honest, in Gene's words, fuck around and find out. With that, let's just say his standing within that of Ashford with some people have basically, well, went rock bottom. As for the things that were basically, well, both okay and somewhat annoying, first off, when you have Lloyd motherfucking Earl of Pudding Ostbloom as your homeroom teacher, well, technically, he's not just our homeroom teacher, but also our physics teacher as well. And let's just say dealing with him is basically an annoyance and a half. I know in the manga, he only basically became a teacher to keep his identity as the head scientist of Camelot a secret after all. So yeah, but to be honest, but if you look back in the anime, especially since the anime came first before the manga, and knowing that Millie's family ends up trying to marry her off to that of, well, Lloyd to gain back their noble title, well, let's just say it gets weird when you find out that you gotta marry your teacher at that. So I try to keep my distance and try not to bring up that plot line as much as I can. But all in considered, Lloyd's not really much of a bad guy. Honestly, when I bring up the fact about certain mechanics and even that of certain fit and even the importance of using secured items in different ways, let's just say Lloyd kind of wants me to be his certain apprentice. On the very spot, I told him, hell the fuck no. As for another thing that's that's probably, well, okay, but also annoying, is Nina. It's bad. Given that we're both in the same homeroom class, and it looks like my hunch was right. She ended up becoming my goddamn stalker. Yep, you heard me right. Looks like she became my stalker, and she now has a full-on crush on me. Every chance she gets, she tries to talk to me and tries to help me out. Even when I'm doing that of my noble duties, as I say, which are basically me trying to get more and more information on that of Britannia and gain more resources for the Xylon, she ends up helping me out with that of certain, assignments that I miss in class on those days. And even helps me out try to help me take care of them. And to be honest, I really appreciate that, to be fair. However, when there are times when I just want to spend time by myself and basically just want to be alone, I know that she's basically stalking and following me like hell. And it really gets somewhat a little bit creepy at that. But part of me isn't really that, annoyed by it, to be honest. It's weird and creepy, but not really annoying to me. Which I didn't know the reason why. Until Air basically made her own opinion saying that it's because she has that sexy nerdy look to her and basically, and let's just say I refused to talk to Air for at least an entire week after that day. It's bad enough that this Nina has the body of Millie Ashford, for Christ's sakes. I mean, what the hell? Oh yeah, speaking of the airheaded but also surprisingly brilliant student council president of Ashford Academy, when she found out that Nina had a crush on me, let's just say she wouldn't stop bugging me to join the student council at that moment. And let's just say it was constantly and utterly annoying as hell. And I mean really damn annoying as hell. But unfortunately, she ended up getting me to join the student council. And let's just say it wasn't as bad as I thought it was, even though I was basically being forced to include it into that of the main cast of Code Geass because of this. My interactions with the current student council before they basically, get bigger and bigger as time went on, and even in season 2, Millie was somewhat of an annoyance from time to time. Besides her always constantly perving on that of Shirley just to tease her, she's not and always constantly bringing up, these stupid, student festivals and ideas and all that. Other than that, she's not really half bad, to be fair. But to be honest, it would be a little bit better. But personally, part of me thinks she may have a bit of ADHD. But that's my own opinion. The second thing is that of Shirley. Shirley is pretty an okay person. She's nice, she's caring. I can tell that she does care about, even though she's not technically a student council member and she's actually part of the swimming club, she doesn't mind doing that as student council work as well. Hell, even though I know the real reason why, and that's due to a certain Ravenette with that of pink purple eyes after all. But my interactions with her weren't so half bad. She's pretty normal. Oh, speaking of normal, there's also Rivals. Let's just say that we already know the main reason why he joined the student council was trying to get Millie's heart. And I even made this abruptly clear to the guy when I first basically met him. And he even didn't even denounce it, to be honest. But every time that he tries to ask Millie out, he's always shot down, which is just kind of sad, really, but can't be helped. I gotta give the guy at least some dedication, but besides being the most normal looking and not really much of a, have anything special about him unlike the others, I doubt he's gonna do anything. Then there's also the last remaining person, the one person that I thought I would never get along with after all, that being the secretive prince himself, Lelouch v. Britannia, otherwise now going by Lelouch Lamperouge, his mother's former name before she became that of the Empress. At first, I thought that Lelouch would basically annoy me, especially since he always having that fake-ass smile and basically and having that higher-than-thou kind of attitude. But however, when he's around that at the student council, it looks like that way when he basically can just be himself in some way without trying to scheme or basically trying to manipulate or even cause any trouble, shows that Lelouch really does have a kind-hearted side to him. Hell, there are even a few times when I tag along with him in Rivals to basically play against that of nobles and basically scam them out of his money. Soon I find out that this money is basically meant for him and his little sister Nonnally. Speaking of Nonnally, the one who would end up becoming that of an honorary student council member, she's a kind, caring, and loving girl just like in the anime. Sweet and innocent to the very end. Hell, even when she was being used by freaking Sneasel, she's still a kind-hearted person. And because of this, I basically made a promise to myself that I would make sure that this girl never, ever be used by Sneasel, by that of Charles, or even that of the Geass Order ever. So once Lelouch's little rebellion basically goes off with that of a bang at the end of season 1 in the coming of months, I need to make sure that at least some of our agents get her back to the Xylon in one piece. Lelouch may hate that, but better her being well kept and safe than her being nothing but a pawn after all. Since then, his time at Ashford has been somewhat, as just like I said, also pretty good, while also being an annoyance. Also, speaking of my other team members, such as Carla and Chatty, Carla basically denied Sneasel's offer of joining that of his Camelot unit after all. But she did make a proposal saying that she wants to be that of a consultant, look over that of their Knightmare frames and data and programming as well to help improve it. Even add some even if it's not too bad, probably add some of her own upgrades as well. However, it looks like Sneasel's not as stupid as we thought. He was cautious and basically told her that was out of the question, unless she's willing to join entirely and offering up that of her resources and designs to Camelot and Britannia as a whole, then there's no way that even being a semi member of Camelot is out of the question. However, Sneasel did say that the opportunity is always open, and he'll be waiting for her to fully join, basically expecting her to join automatically, given that the offer to join that of the secret task force of Britannia was way too tempting. Unfortunately for her, she has that her boss is literally somebody who knows the plot of this world entirely. So no way in hell that she wouldn't be doing this. So he's most likely going to be waiting a lot longer. But she may take the opportunity just in case that things start to derail after all. As for Chatty Stick, he's still basically in that the Britannian empire's systems after all, continuing feeding that of revenue back to that of the Xylon after all, making sure to at least be able to pay that of those who are part of the massive city. He's also been finding out about that of multiple invasions and attacks from that of Cordelia and her royal guard taking over area after area, which is pretty damn resistant given who she is after all. The goddess of victory for Britannia and the witch as well. Everybody outside of Britannia who fears her prowess on the battlefield. As for Kate, she's currently staying low for now. They didn't know about that of her armor core just yet, given on how quick and how precise she was destroying the thought elevators when she went on that of her little escapade, but not wanting to cause any problems right now. Currently, as we speak, she's currently going through that of the world of C, even though she's being watched by that of the collective unconsciousness, aka God. She's trying to find a way into that of the Geass order, basically where the Ragnarok connection is at the Geass order. If she can find that connection through that of C's world, then most definitely she'll be able to put this war to a quick and most precise end, and then after that, we'll be able to take down Britannia once and for all. Honestly, it would basically become somewhat of a bloodless war, but there's no such thing as a bloodless war. Far from it. But nothing wrong with hoping that there was such thing as one. Currently, as the 3 months have now gone by, currently right now, Jean is at that of their Japanese HQ, the same HQ that he's using as his home right now, with him and Rusty in the living room, as Jean is on that of the couch looking at that of the news on his giant flat screen TV, with Rusty standing in the living room with his arms crossed, as right now it's now the amount time when that of the news would be covering that of Callan and her little resistance group would be trying to steal C2, which they believe would be poisonous gas. As the news reporter goes on through that of the TV saying, "Breaking news, everyone. Currently, now at that of 12 p.m. in the afternoon, in the early noon, currently we have that of a dispatch of that of Rogue 11s taking that of highly dangerous toxic gas from that of a military compound. The suspects are in that of a semi truck heading onto that of the highway of the Tokyo settlement, hopefully heading to that of the Shinjuku ghetto, with then soon seeing this saying, "So it's begun," within Rusty saying, "So this is where everything begins, where that kid Lelouch gets his Geass, right? Currently, there is no toxic gas. The entire toxic gas is nothing but a damn lie. And basically, it was a cover story to keep a secret about him experimenting on C2. If only, seriously, if Charles and V2 knew that Clovis was basically experimenting on C2, even though their plans hinge on her at all, they would basically kick themselves over and over again. Hell, they would possibly even kill Clovis for basically even trying to experiment on her. And yet, the dumbass gets punished and is basically seen as a damn martyr for Britannia after all. Even though he's not good at battle strategies, he's not good at ruling an area as we speak. There's so much goddamn corruption here in that of Japan. Now Area 11, it's basically ridiculous. The only thing the guy is good at is basically painting and throwing stupid ass tea parties. Within, Rusty saying, don't I know it? If I remember those stupid mandatory meetings that you had to go through. Don't remind me, Rusty. They were completely and utterly pointless. No way in hell we should have to sit through that shit. Good thing that as soon as we showed up, we left it right after. But even so, Clovis is basically a horrible leader of a... And honestly, speaking of, within soon, the news basically switches back as the news reporter is saying, we have that of an important message from that of our viceroy, the third prince in line to the imperial throne, Clovis Lee Britannia. Within soon, seeing that of a blonde young man wearing that of a, royal outfit that looks quite fancy on him, as he soon says, my fellow subjects, this disgusting declaration from those terrorists of 11s has me vexed and annoyed after everything we have done to try and make Area 11 a safe and peaceful nation. That's why I, Prince Clovis, your viceroy, will do whatever I can to make things better for all of you by allowing those of the purebloods and my royal guard to put an end to such horribleness, and will not allow any toxic gas to harm the civilians. That is all. Within, switching back to the news reporter, within soon, Gene basically mutes the news and the TV, within saying, completely and utterly bullshit. You want to know, that wasn't even freaking live at all. It looked live, but it wasn't. Right now, the dumbass is in a fucking tea party right now, saying, seriously, how incompetent can this guy be? Really incompetent. Again, I told you, he's a fucking artist playing leader, and to be fair, I don't even think it's his fault. To be honest, everybody always speaks of social Darwinism within that of Britannia, and everybody always thinks that the royal family have it easy, even with that of two royal families basically being hit with that of terrorism, even though that wasn't the case. Lelouch and Nonnally losing their mother, Nonnally basically losing her eyesight and her legs due to V2 and Charles' manipulation. Not to mention that Maribel, Lelouch and Nonnally's other half sibling, losing both her parents, both her mother and her stepfather, in a terrorist bombing, which in fact wasn't even a terrorist bombing. It was actually done by that of the Geass Order, Rollo, because her stepfather actually had connections to the Geass Order. Within Rusty speaking, saying, seriously, those guys are fucking everywhere, aren't they? Saying, tell me about it. But even so, we need to find some way to take those guys down. If we take down the Geass Order before we take down that of Britannia, this war will be a lot more easier, and we'll be able to win it a lot more quicker too. But easier said than done. Within soon, the news report began to change as he unmutes that of the TV, within saying, it seems that the toxic gas was able to make it to that of the Shinjuku ghetto. Unfortunately, Prince Clovis has sent that of the entire Britannian military of Area 11 alongside his royal guard and the Puritan faction to make sure that the toxic gas doesn't cause any harm to that of the area. We'll bring you coverage over within soon before the TV could finish, and the news reporter as well. It was turned off by that of Gene as he stand up and throwing the TV remote onto the couch. Within soon, looking at that of Rusty saying, looks like it's time. Let's get going. Saying, roger that. After that, the two basically leaving the living room, going through that of the through that of the hallway, as heading to that of another room, which looks like that of a study. However, going behind that of the desk, which is that of a bookcase. Within, removing that of a certain book, causes that of the bookcase to basically slide to the left, and that of its place being that of an elevator shaft, with then soon entering into that of the elevator and then pressing a button as the elevator's doors close, with even creating that of a, barricade fence too, within going down. As soon, Air basically begins to speak to that of Jean, saying, Jean, is it time? Saying, yeah, it is. You saw what happened, Air. And it looks like Clovis is about to start his little massacre. We need to prevent that. Within, soon, Rusty speaking, saying, hey, if you're speaking to the little lady there, she should probably send a message towards that of the Xylon to get everybody ready, saying, by the time we get everybody ready, it's going to be too late. Even if we use one of our fastest drop ships to basically drop the armor cores into that of the Shinjuku ghetto, who knows how many people would already die by that time. In the canon, almost that of the 50 population of people who lived in that of the Shinjuku ghetto, which was around that of 1 million Japanese civilians, and over half of those people died in that massacre. So I think it's best that we probably prevent that from happening again. We're the closest by, so I think I should probably use my fastest armor core to do so. Elite, basically a lightweight one. Within, soon entering at seeing that of what's inside of the lower bays, turns out is with that of tons of armor cores, low core, light cores, mid cores, and even that of, drone ships as well, with a few that of Humvees too, with that of massive trailers in the back, and G1 bases as well, but large ones for the size of armor cores, as this basically is one giant ass military base right under that of Jean's house. There are even a few buildings as well, with then soon finally getting under that of the at the elevator stopping, with then soon Air can help but say, should I get one of your armor cores ready? Which one would you want? Within, Jean thinking, get the Lynx ready. I want to pilot that baby. It's one of my lightest and also one of the quickest armor cores I got. And just in case I had to go against the Lancelot, I should be able to handle it pretty easily since it doesn't have any of its weaponry right now. So it should be easy to go against. Within, hearing this, Air saying, understood, as then they're getting out of their mental link. Within, soon, one of the armor cores begins to react, with even that of stabilizing cranes that keep the armor cores up and from basically, falling over or anything like that. It begins to move, within climbing up the steps, with soon Rusty saying, so what about me? Should I get my armor core ready to go as well? Saying, as much as I want you out there too, Rusty, I think it's best that you help out in that of the evacuation orders. Probably call some of our allies that are in Shinjuku to get the evacuations ready. With everything now beginning, we're going to need people here to keep everything in check. Mechanics, crews, and even my own personal team as well. They're going to need to get here as well. Within, hearing that, Rusty saying, all right, understood. I'll focus more on rescue operations after all. So, you on the other hand, Jean, within, putting up his fist in front of Jean, within, seeing that, Rusty smiling, saying, kick all their asses. Show them what you can do, buddy. Within, Jean couldn't help but smirk and smile before fist bumping Rusty, within saying, you got it, bro. With that, going up to the stairs and coming onto that of the walkway heading to his armor core. Within, seeing that of a red thin armor core, as the armor cores were somewhat thin while also being a bit bulky as well. This armor core, on the other hand, looked really thin, like light on its feet. Within, saying, let's do this, Lynx. Time for you to finally get some action out there. Within getting inside within soon. Air speaking, saying, "Before we go, Jean, don't you need to get your combat suit on?" "Oh, right. Can't pilot this thing since I have that of Gen 4 augmentation connecting me to Coral as well alongside you, Air. I can't pilot this thing at my best unless I have the suit on to connect the wires to." Man, this is gonna be a pain. Within soon, Air saying, it's the only way that you're able to pilot that of the armor core, even also being able to connect to me. Sorry about the scarring. Saying, it's fine. Luckily, I put a lot of makeup on to hide the scars. Within soon, making sure to go back down and put on that of his flight suit. As then, removing that of his clothes, and then grabbing that to the flight suit with that of tons of tubes and opening into that of Jean, as there are basically open gashes and small holes that look like that of injection ports into his arms, his shoulders, and even to around that of his neck, around that of his shoulder blades as well. How the hell did 621 Raven able to handle this? It feels like there are wires basically digging into my bone and my skin, and all the way to my muscles and bones, and even to my nerves too. I'm lucky I've gotten used to it, but still it's annoying. But I'm glad this stuff is well waterproof. But even so, I'm more happy that I've made an excuses on why I can't take that as swimming classes. Even though that's basically pissed off Shirley more times than I can count. After getting the suit on, with then heading back to the links and entering inside, with then getting inside of the seat, before then it closes, as soon a hologram display of as the armor core begins to open, eyes begin to light up, within soon saying, connecting to armor core systems. Within soon, multiple tubes, wires begin to get connected to that of his suit, as then they begin to connect to that of Jean's nervous system. Within soon, feeling the jolt, as it felt a little bit unpleasant for a bit, but then it fades away, as then getting used to the feeling of the wires in his body, within saying, all right, let's do this. Air, open up the bay doors, saying, roger that. Heading to that, opening the bay doors and heading to launch bay. After that, the doors begin to open, with Rusty heading to that of one of the, support aircraft carrier, with then soon seeing that of the suspension grabs that are basically pulling that of the links to that of the launch bay. Within soon, Rusty can help but basically salute, saying, good luck out there, buddy. On that of his phone, seeing that of a message from one of their contacts within that of Colin and Ogie's group, saying, SOS, send backup. Within soon, Rusty messaging back saying, cavalry's on the way, friend, no need to worry. Within, getting to the launch bay, as soon, Rusty having that of his weapons in his right hand being that of a MAE 211 Sumpu hand cannons automatic, in his left being that of a VP 67 EP, or as it really looks like, a stun baton, in that of his right shoulder being that of a homing missile launcher, and in that of his left shoulder holding that holster for that of a VP 66 LH laser pistol. The Lynx is basically a hit and run armor core, to be honest. It's made for that of quick and precise hits, only basically made to attack and then move out of the way. It's quick on its feet and pretty damn fast. So anybody that tries to lock onto it is going to have that of a bad day. With then soon Air speaking, saying, "Gene, no, Air, don't call me Gene." With then saying, right. When we're on missions, you would prefer if I called you and everybody else by your code name. Yeah, Raven. When we're on missions, call me Raven. Within saying, "Understood, Raven." As Air says this, however, she says it more in that of a gentle and loving way, instead of that of how she says his name normally, showing that she truly does have a fondness for the name Raven, after all. But Jean couldn't help but smiling within saying, "All right, launch!" Within soon, flying up high up into the air, before then being launched flying, as then soon using that of his thrusters to fly towards Shinjuku. Good thing, even though they live in the outskirt of the Tokyo settlement, they could still reach the Shinjuku ghetto in a matter of 2 minutes. Launching out of the bay as well, being as of the Armor Corps mobile carrier as well, being Rusty, within saying, "Be there at least in a good 5 minutes, buddy. Give them hell." Saying, "You know I will, Rusty." With flying as fast as he can to that of the settlement. Within soon, the Royal Guard and Britannia military are already starting to try and clean house, with tons of people basically getting closer, dying bit by bit, with neither men nor women, neither that of the children and elderly are spared from that of the military's discrimination of killing. With then soon a few soldiers are lining up that of men, women, and children into that of a firing range. With then soon, as they were pointing their guns, as the CEO was about to say, "Aim," and before he could finish, they were soon hit by that of a barrage of gunfire as well. Within, many of the people that saw this couldn't help but be completely and utterly caught off guard and shocked, seeing nothing but blood spears and even that of body parts as well. With then soon landing in that of the open area as they see the links. With then soon, many of them say, "All of you, go somewhere to hide. I'll take care of the soldiers roaming around and the Knightmare frames as well." As then the Japanese civilians, still completely shocked about their unknown savior, seeing that of the massive Knightmare frame to them, even though it's an armor core. Within, using that of the hover system and thrusting, and having that of his thrusters move him forward as fast as he can, as he goes through that of the destroyed streets of the former city district of Shinjuku. Within, soon seeing multiple targets of armor cores, some basically shooting at trying to shoot at civilians. Within, switching to that of his laser pistol. Within, having that of his physical automatic pistol, and his laser pistol, as he shoots at a barrage of fire right through that of the destroyed buildings, right at that of the armor cores right in front of him. Within, soon a few soldiers couldn't help but see that of their friend's Knightmare frames completely and utterly destroyed, with one of the soldiers saying, "What the hell? What happened?" Within, soon one of the soldiers that basically says this was also taken down and fired at. Within, saying, "Enemies? What are those damn terrorists?" Within, soon a blue laser blast basically pierces right through that of his cockpit as well. As then Raven continues to mow down enemy after enemy. This district is clear, heading to the next one. Within, flying off into that of the city. Within, soon however, that's of a young man A familiar young man by the name of Lelouch v. Britannia is in that of a particular situation, as Lelouch, normally just trying to do what he normally does, skip school and head out with that of his friend Rivals to go and challenge that of nobility for money, as his money was basically made to help him and his little sister Nonali survive for the next coming of years after all. However, it was also to help him build in his crusade to end his former homeland, Britannia, by gaining that of resources and supplies that he would need to basically get stronger, to gain what he would need to destroy Britannia. First would be that of a base. Using this money, he's hoping to get that of a G1 base, at least enough money to buy it. Second, he would need to get that of Knightmare frames as well. Easier said than done, but with enough money from nobility, it can be done. However, easier said than done, as this normal day turns into that of a nightmare, with trying to see, almost getting run over by that of a drunk driver, he believed, until he found out that that's not the case at all. He even tried to help them, but it turns out it was done by that of terrorist, or rather resistance groups. And even finding out that maybe one of those resistance groups is somebody he knows from Ashford. The reason being is because she has that of red hair, and normally red hair wouldn't be that of a symbol of him knowing her, but it's how she looked like that reminded her of a certain red-haired girl. Not only that, she was even in that of a red Glasgow, an outdated Knightmare frame, showing more that they're terrorists. Not only that, when he was stuck inside of the truck that basically held that of toxic gas, turns out one of the Britannian soldiers tried to believe that he was a terrorist, actually. Believed that he was trying to set off the gas, but then when Lelouch quit back, it actually was his childhood best friend, that being Suzaku Kitarugi, his friend that went missing all those 7 years ago, right after he declared that he would bring down Britannia and obliterate it. Finding out that same friend ended up joining the Britannian military as an honorary Britannian. Not only that, what even caught me off guard at that toxic gas that everybody was talking about so much was actually not even true. What inside of it was really a green-haired girl in a straitjacket. Then that means it was all a lie. It was all a nothing but a lie. And now, all the people in the Shinjuku ghetto are being slaughtered because of that lie. And right now, Lelouch alongside that of a girl, and Suzaku, and even that same green-haired girl are being targeted by that of the military, with Suzaku being shot by his superior after refusing to even shoot Lelouch. And then, now, he and the girl are basically about to die, with that of the CEO saying, "Any last words, schoolboy? You really did pick a bad day to go hooky today." With then saying, Don't you have any consciousness? Don't you have any forgiveness for?" With then soon hearing that of a woman scream, with then she being shot. As then soon after, you can hear that of a baby as well. With then Lelouch saying, "Please don't!" as the soldier was about to shoot. Before then, a barrage of bullets basically piercing them as well. With it, however, it missed Lelouch and that of the green-haired girl, otherwise known as C2. With then soon Lelouch saying, "What the?" With then noticing that of the links, as then Lelouch saying, "A new Knightmare frame? But wait, it looked like it just aimed at the soldiers. So, is it with the Japan?" And not only that, it looks huge. Plus, within seeing on how far that it is, that was able to shoot that distance and even accurately aim as well, saying it has that much precision. That's insane. With then soon noticing, still hearing that of the baby's crying, Lelouch, even though he wouldn't normally care, but not wanting to see that of a baby basically die in a place like this, heading to grab that of the crying baby, with then soon C2 noticing as well, as then thinking, did I interrupt her basically giving Lelouch his Geass? The links basically amplifies both my hearing and my senses as well. Basically, I'm able to hear and sense anybody nearby. When I heard that of the baby crying, I knew that I had to stop that. Who knew I was actually in the area where Lelouch would gain the power of the kings? Whatever. As long as he can still gain that power, and as long as I save that child from basically being shot, that's all that matters. Within, soon gliding off once again and flying to that of another area in the Shinjuku ghetto. Within, Lelouch having that of the Japanese baby in his hands. Within, soon it continues to cry before then it begins to quiet down while just only whimpering now. Within saying, what am I supposed to do now? Within soon, C2 going over to Lelouch saying, give the child to me. Within saying, what? I said give the child to me. I'll make sure to get it somewhere safe. You really sure? Within saying, trust me. Within Lelouch saying, thank you. We need to. Within soon saying, but not yet. You had to promise me something. Within saying, promise you what? Make a contract with me. Saying, what? I said, make a contract with me. With then saying, a contract? A contract of what? A contract that you would gain power. Isn't that what you want more than anything? Within soon hearing this, Lelouch was a little bit hesitant, thinking that this woman is crazy. But within saying, as long as you take care of this child, that's all that matters. So I'll take your contract. What the hell you want? Within soon, she basically places her hands on Lelouch's cheeks. Before then, Lelouch begins to feel something entering inside of him. He begins to feel a shift with multiple images all over and basically going straight into his head. Completely and utterly freaked out. He almost felt like he was about to drop the child and grab his head before C2 were let go. Within saying, there, that should do it. You have now gained your Geass. Within saying, my Geass. Within soon noticing that of a bird-like sigil in that of his left eye. And saying, within the C2 grabbing that onto the baby. Within saying, you can use this power to do what you need to do. To destroy Britannia, isn't that not what you wish? Within saying, that's what soon, without saying any more words, as C2 basically heads out, within heading to that of a crevice, saying, hey, wait! As she soon runs off, that's the same time when a Sutherland basically busts through that of the building, with then it being that of Valletta Sutherland. Within soon saying, what's going on? With then noticing that of Lelouch. With then saying, wait, is that a schoolboy? Why is he even here? Within soon Lelouch saying, I was trapped down here. Could you please let me go? With then soon Vela saying, I gotta get him out of here, but I shouldn't be too careless. As she soon grabs her gun before removing herself from that of her Knightmare frame. Before then, the bird-like sigil in Lelouch's left eye begins to activate, as he activates his Geass for the first time, instead of when he used the Geass to basically kill those soldiers, a little unlike in canon. With now having Valletta under his control, within Lelouch couldn't help but smile, saying, this is going to be a great gift. Back with Raven, Within soon getting that of a communication call from that of Rusty's. Within saying, "Talk to me, Rusty," as he fires down onto more and more Knightmare frames. Within saying, I'm already arrived to the settlement. Our contact has gathered a large amount of civilians nearing that of a warehouse. I'm going to gather up all the civilians and head them back to that of our base." Within saying, "Good. After that, make sure to hide them out there for a while. Hopefully, nobody's smart enough to basically follow after you." Within saying, "Roger that." Closing his comms before then blocking an attack from that, dodging an attack from that of multiple Knightmare frames trying to shoot at him. With that, within Raven dodging each and every one of those shots, going side to side before flying up into the air, as then soon switching back to that of his stun baton, as then it begins to extend with the stun baton. Electricity begins to crackle as he hits one of the Knightmare frames into the head. Within the pilot inside saying, "What the? Wait, did my systems just shut down for a while?" Before then getting pelted with that of bullets. Within sued one of the other Knightmare frames that tried to shoot at him, try to run away, saying, "No!" As then seeing this, saying, "Oh no, you don't." Using that of his missile launcher as the homing missile fires straight at that of the Knightmare frame. However, even though the missile was pretty damn slow, within soon firing at that of the Knightmare frame's legs as the treads basically are destroyed, causing the Knightmare frame to trip and fall to the ground. As then the Knightmare pilot seeing that of the missile heading straight for him, saying, "No!" before it explodes. Within, seeing as the explosion continues to fly over, as that of the Lynx's almost looks quite menacing. With then still in the cockpit, as then soon Air speaking up, saying, "Raven, there are still several other soldiers in the area. We need to take care of them as soon as we can," saying, "Understood." Hey, you think we could connect to that of the Britannian forces' comm channels? Saying, "I was wondering how long you would ask that, Raven." Saying, "Ha ha, very funny. Been busy trying to save civilians here, Air." Saying, "Sorry, it's fine. It's just that." Within, gripping on his controls even more, saying, "Never thought I would actually be in a full-on combat zone. When I joined the military, I just wanted to be a mechanic. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. And yet, here I am." With soon going to that of another area, before then the comms began to switch to that of the Britannian frequency. Within hearing that of Clovis's annoyed, pompous voice, saying, "What is going on here? Why are all of our forces? We were losing so many of our forces from each area." Within soon that of an African Britannian man without a monocle, as this being that of Clovis's second in command, Bartley, within saying, "I have no idea, my lord. We have confirmation from a few soldiers saying that it's a giant Knightmare frame." Saying, "Giant Knightmare frame? This is preposterous. There can't be." Within Raven began thinking, I mean, my Lynx isn't really that big, to be honest. I mean, a Knightmare frame comes all the way up to that of the upper legs, to be honest. It's not really that small. But I'm guessing that's only that of Sutherland's. Maybe Glasgow's and possibly even that of the, personal-made Knightmares for that of the Royal Knights are a lot more bigger and can come up to that of the Lynx and maybe my other armor core size. But who could say? Getting out of his thoughts before seeing that of more targets. But at any rate, within soon firing that of another homing missile, saying, "Either way, these bastards threaten innocent people's lives for a dumbass's mistakes and not trying to cover his damn tracks. So of course, their lives are forfeit for following that dumbass." With then soon firing more and more of more bullets and laser fire down to that of the more of the soldiers. Back on that to the G1 base of, well, Clovis, with then seeing more and more of his troops disappearing as the operator saying, "Sir, we've lost more and more Knightmare frames at that of Sector 7. Within Sue, Clovis can up and say, "This is insane. This is preposterous. How? How is this even possible?" Within Sue, that of a comm channel comes through as then on the screen showing that of Jean's homeroom teacher, Lloyd, within saying, "Yoo-hoo, Your Highness. I was wondering if I could ask you for a little bit of a favor, seeing that things look quite dire." Within soon, Clovis saying, "Osbloom." Within saying, "Who's such a pretty scary face there? Oh, but just let you know, I heard about that of a giant Knightmare frame on there, and I did see at least some of the footage. It looks quite mobility and has that of it, and it also has that of a bit of a thruster pack, which means it has that of possibly that of a flight unit, which, if I recall, is still haven't been developed. Even I'm a little bit angry about that. I never didn't get much of a look at it, so if you could, would you allow me to send that of my asset out there, the Lancelot?" Within soon, Bartley can say, "Out of the question. We have no idea that we could trust you, Camelot, from those from you and Camelot. Not only that, didn't you have a problem finding that of a devicer?" Within Lloyd saying, "Oh, actually, we did find a devicer. Somebody whose categories fit that of the Lancelot perfectly. If you could, is it okay? We can." Within soon, Clovis, feeling that desperate, saying, "Fine. Send your little toy out there. Just make sure you destroy that insolent bastard that's basically causing nothing but mayhem out there." Within soon hearing this, Lloyd saying, "Rightio." Within soon, however, unaware that their conversation was actually being listened on by that of Raven and Air. Within soon, Raven saying, "So they're sending out Suzaku in the Lancelot. This is a good time for me to finally test out if that of a 7th generation Knightmare can handle that of one of my weakest armor cores." Within soon, Air saying, "I can connect with that of the resistance fighters here in Shinjuku. Would you?" Saying, "Smart." However, as soon as he connects, he begins to hear that of multiple chatter, as it being from Lelouch giving orders to that of the resistance fighters, with Lelouch saying, Q1, go to area, take out that of B7. K2, take out that of I2. With then soon, B2, take out that of R5. With then saying, "Still the same old chess analogy as always, Lelouch. You never change." Within soon, modifying his own voice. Within taking a deep breath before saying, "Can I ask on who is his frequency? Are these the resistance fighters?" Within soon, Lelouch hearing this on that of his comm saying, who wants to know? The same guy that's basically been killing tons of Knightmare frames all across the battlefield. Within soon, Lelouch saying, "So that's you." Within soon, another man coming on that of the comms, as on the other eye being that of a man with a pompadour, a red headband, with that wearing that of a fur jacket, saying, "Please, what's going on? Wait, you're the guy that's a few civilians basically told us that a giant red Knightmare frame saved them. Was that you?" Within saying, "Of course, it was me." Also, did you guys see that of a giant helicopter that came by any chance? Within Ogi saying, "Wait, actually," as then a blue-haired guy saying, "Yeah, I did see that of a helicopter. It was pretty damn big for something for a helicopter like that after all." Within saying, "Good. Those actually hold that of almost possibly half of the Shinjuku ghetto civilians, actually. Within hearing this, everybody's completely caught off guard, as then a guy in that of one of the Sutherlands, being that of a red-haired guy with that of a soul patch, with also having that red headband, being that of Tamaki, saying, "What the hell? Are you bastards trying to steal?" Within soon cutting off that of Tamaki's rant, before then saying, "Alright, I'm gonna stop you right there, dude, loudmouth dude. We're trying to save as many people as I can. If I wanted to kill the Japanese civilians, I would have leveled this entire ass ghetto in an instant. If next time you go to conclusions like that, back it up with your goddamn facts. Don't rant without showing actions. And my actions have basically proven that I am an ally. So piss off." Within hearing this, everybody was completely caught off guard about that of Tamaki being being told off by somebody not even allowing him to continue his rant after all. Because even though the guy does like to rant and talk, he does make some logical points here and there. Not all the time, but at least somewhat. With then soon Ogi saying, "I appreciate and grateful for your assistance. But I'm telling you this now, we're not holding them hostage. We're only keeping them safe for the time being until this entire battle comes to an end. And seeing on how well you're mopping up some of the forces around, then I guess it's best that we continue going." Within soon getting a call from that of Rusty saying, "What is it, Rusty? I don't think I got all of the people from the Shinjuku ghetto." Then saying, "Yeah, I figured that some people probably already died, which is a damn shame." Within saying, "Yeah, that's. Plus, there's probably more." Within soon, Raven speaking up saying, "If any of you guys can, make sure to save as many civilians as you can. Head them back to the same location on when the helicopter was. They're making that of a go around after all." Within soon, Lelouch speaking up saying, "Are you sure we can follow those orders? Right now, what's more important is basically taking down the Britannian forces in this area. If we take them out, then we wouldn't need to." Within soon, Raven speaking up saying, "I understand where you're coming from. Taking out the enemy is more better than taking down that by making sure that civilians are safe, right? However, you forget that these soldiers, our main priority is to kill the civilians, not to basically kill. If they wanted to kill that of the soldiers, they would have done so. They doing this because of the poisonous gas, or so people believe it's gas after all." Within hearing that, Lelouch couldn't help but be completely caught off guard. Hell, even that of the red-haired girl, Colin, was completely caught off guard as she's speaking up saying, "What the hell are you talking about? If they're here because we took the gas, and yet they're planning on massacring the entire Japanese civilians. Clovis is hiding something other than the gas. Basically killing an entire settlement only for that of toxic gas? That's a bit of an overreaction, don't you think? There's more to this than you think. So, until then, if you want the answers, focus on protecting the civilians for your idiots' dumb actions, while I take care of the military. If you guys want to take care of some nightmares on the way on protecting those civilians, fine. But focus on the people. Their lives matter more than your damn pride." Within, after saying that, he fires more and more onto that of Knightmare frames coming straight at them. Within, soon, Lelouch couldn't help but get annoyed at that of Raven's words. Before then, saying, "Anyone who's willing to take care of the Britannian forces, follow with me. Anyone who wants to help out that of the civilians, use your Knightmare frames to defend them as well." Within hearing this, Ogi also basically on the comms as well, thinking, "You heard them. Two teams, follow that of the mysterious one that basically gave us the order to take care of that of the Knightmare frames of the Royal Guard, while the others focus on that of on helping out and protecting civilians, so that giant helicopter can come back again." Within, all of the resistance fighters saying, "Understood," as the teams basically separated. while those who work with that of, well, Raven by saving civilians, being that of Sugiyama, Inoue, and Minami, as as these three focus on that of protecting civilians using their Knightmare frames to get them back to that other, to make sure that Rusty can send them out of the city, while the others, such as that of Colin, Ogi, Tamaki, and Yoshida, focus on taking care of taking care of that of the Royal Guard and the Puritans. With then Lelouch can help but say, "Damn, now my plan has basically been halved, all because of that guy." But within soon thinking about that of the baby from before, and how it's now in the hands of C2, saying, I should be fighting for them. I shouldn't just be fighting for that of Britannia and fighting for that of making a world safer for Nonali. The people have suffered by Britannia's hands too, besides us. But even so, my goals must come first, then the people. That is what matters right now, and what needs to be done. Before then, within soon, putting on that of a soldier's uniform, within saying, I still need to get answers from Clovis. Within soon, seeing on that of the screens, being that of a special Knightmare, heading straight for the battlefield. Within soon, currently in the air, is being that of the Lynx, with Raven within air contacting that of Raven, saying, Raven, we have that of a special enemy on the battlefield. Within saying, special enemy. Within soon switching to that of the Britannian comms, before then saying, wait, they just lanced the Lancelot. Then that means Suzaku Kitaruji's now here. Perfect. Within soon speaking up, saying, everybody, all forces, all resistance forces, a special Knightmare has now been spitched on the field. It's considered that of a 7th generation Knightmare. I repeat, a 7th generation Knightmare is now on the field, is now on the battlefield. If you see it, run away and get out of there. Within soon, Tamaki saying, what? 7th generation Knightmare? Within soon, even Lelouch saying, how's that even possible? Within, Colin, in that of her one-armed Glasgow, can up and say, 7th generation Knightmare frame. But the Sutherlands and even that of the Glasgows, they're only that of 5th generation. They skipped a generation? Within, soon, and that of the Lancelot, being that of Suzaku, with Suzaku saying, with this Knightmare, I'll put an end to the fighting. I'll protect everybody else as well. With then, soon, noticing that of the Lynx heading straight for that of Suzaku, saying, so that's the flying Knightmare. Within, locking on to that of the Knightmare, however, in that of the Camelot's G1 mobile base, where then, soon, Lloyd saying, what? What the hell is that? Within, his assistant, a blue-haired young woman named Cecile, saying, I'm guessing that must be the special Knightmare frame that's been causing quite a bit of a trouble. Saying, it's so crude. I mean, look at that. The body, it looks like there's barely any way to flexibility around that of the legs. The arms only look like they're made to just grab. They look like they're made to grab and bend and even that of switch directions. But when I said that they're supposed to be that of a flight unit, look at that flight unit. It's so crass and outdated. Using jet propulsion? So ridiculous. No way my Lancelot would be able to lose to something like that. Within soon, Suzaku getting close, seeing this, as then using that of the Lancelot to jump up into the air, using one of the using the slash Harkins on its arm to head straight for that of the Lynx. Within saying, is that all you got? Within soon doing that of an aileron roll to the side. Within, Suzaku was completely caught off guard by that of the speed and the mobility with even that of Lloyd and Cecile couldn't help but be completely caught off guard, especially Lloyd with his eyes basically bugging out through that of his glasses. Within soon getting out of that of the booster mode before sending that of a barrage of gunfire towards that of the Lancelots. Within the Lancelot basically dodging each and every one of the shots before jumping around as well, before getting out of the area, and then soon Raven heading straight for the Lancelot as well, and Suzaku is then switching back to that of his hand laser pistol and firing more and more shots onto that of the Lancelot. As soon Suzaku dodging each and every one of the shots. Within soon Suzaku saying, "Damn it, it has tons of firepower." Within saying, "Is that all you can do, Suzaku? All you can do is just run away from me? Seriously, how pathetic." With then soon Suzaku using one of the slash harkens to basically get up to one of the unstable buildings, as using that of his treads to basically ride up there. Before then, the Lynx basically bends down and flies up as well. Within shooting that of a homing missile towards that of the Lancelot. With then the missile flies towards Lancelot as he's now on that at the top of the building. Within soon noticing that of the missile basically homing into it. Within saying, "A homing missile? But how?" He turns around and then using that of one of his slash harkens to basically hit that of the missile. As however doing so, it ends up damaging that of his right slash harken, only leaving him with his left slash harken. Seeing this, Suzaku saying, "So much firepower and such a and within soon, the Lynx lands on that of the building as soon with the added weight, it soon begins to destable itself. Within saying, "Oh crap, should have figured out it was going to be too crumbling." Then flying up into the air with soon get Suzaku seeing this as he also uses his last remaining slash harken to basically to get to that of another building. Within soon able to make it there, he's soon noticing that a few civilians are below, as then saying, "Oh no!" Within those a man, a woman, and that of her child in her hands. However, before Suzaku could go down there to save them, within the Lynx already grabs onto them. Within saying, sorry people, but I'm going to need you to get to somewhere safety. This entire place is a battlefield, so please go. You got to get going." Within soon grinding to that of a halt before letting them go, as then soon they begin to run off as fast as they can. With then noticing that Suzaku hasn't attacked him, within realizing, wanting to make sure that I don't use them as hostages. The hypocrite still strikes again before he becomes the biggest hypocrite of them all. But then turning around pretty quickly, with then soon firing that a barrage of beam fire of that of laser fire and that of ammo straight at that of the Lancelot, with Suzaku basically flipping around back down before heading straight for that of Raven's Lynx, with then saying, "You're pretty quick. I can tell you're fast. You have a lot of weaponry, but you're not agile enough to take me down." Within soon jumping up into the air as he was about to kick off that of the Lynx's head, before then soon and that of a quick switch, he brings out that of his stun baton before hitting that of the Lancelot's leg. Within knocking Suzaku's Knightmare frame back down, before then he's about to hit his Knightmare frame again before Suzaku dodges out of the way, but then thinking, so he doesn't get paralyzed, probably because of the magnetic coating across that of the Lancelot's armor. Smart. So basically, electricity weapons don't even work against that of Knightmare frames on the level of the Lancelot. So if I even fought against that of the Gurren, possibly even that of the Gawain, and maybe even that of more and more of that of the Knights of the Rounds, well, Knightmare frames, I wouldn't be able to stand a chance. Even that of the next generation Knightmare frames probably wouldn't even do much against that. This little weapon wouldn't even do much against them. So, I'm learning more and more as time goes on. Within soon, switching back to his weapons, firing more and more onto that of the 7th generation Knightmare. Within, Suzaku realizing he's really giving me a run for my money. All I'm doing is basically doing run and hit attacks. Within realizing he's also doing the same run and hit attacks. He sends that a barrage of weapon fire and even that of one-hit hits. Even using that of his his homing missiles act as that of a stun or basically a way to fully finish off opponents. If anything, he's trying to make this quick and to the point. Within soon, Suzaku's thinking he's really something else. If anything, it's that Knightmare. That's the true problem. Within soon, Suzaku, no longer getting on the defensive, saying, I need to end this quick. If I don't, who knows what will happen. Within soon, revving up that of pushing that of the Knightmare frames, Security engine as fast as it can, as then the treads go even faster. Within soon, also boosting as fast as he can. Within Air speaking, saying, Raven, he's coming at you at a full force attack, saying, I know. Within saying, the Lynx was not made for attacks like that. Even for that of a suit that small, it looks like it's the way that it's moving. It would put a dent through that of the Lynx, saying, I know. Then what will you do? Within saying, I got it. I just need to wait. Surely Lelouch already within soon, as the Lancelot was about to rush towards that of the Lynx. Within, Clovis speaking, saying, all forces, this is a ceasefire. I repeat, ceasefire. This is the decree from that of Clovis Law Britannia, third in line to that of the Imperial family. Anyone who disobeys this order will be court-martialed and executed. Do I make myself clear? Within, all the remaining soldiers that were still on the battlefield couldn't help but be completely caught off guard in shock, wondering on what Prince Clovis was thinking. However, little did they know, a certain giant ship was also in the air and was already leaving that of the battlefield. Within, Rusty couldn't help but smirk, saying, so, he was able to do it. Right on cue. At least got the last of the civilians. Hopefully, not a lot of people died after all. Within, soon, Suzaku saying, what's going on? Why would His Highness? Within, soon, flying off into the air, as Suzaku saying, wait! You can't go! Within, soon, cutting off that of the Britannian comm channels. Before then saying, this was a good battle. We were able to save as many people as I could. And not only that, Knightmare frames currently at this time aren't on the same level as an armor core, to be honest. At least, even on my weakest armor core. At least at a Sutherland. But next time I'm going to have to see on how armor cores can handle that of Glasgow's, though. As for that of the Lancelot, to be honest. It's still too early to say. Even though I was able to damage one of its slash Harkins, but that was one of the missile launchers. Suzaku was one hell of a pilot, to be honest, and that annoys the hell out of me, to be fair. If anything, I need to basically cause him to be in his suicidal mode. Once he's in that, I'll end his life here and there. Within, Air speaking, saying, you wish to kill him? Why? Saying, a guy like him, honestly, I know what it's like to want to end your life. I truly do when you have nothing else to live for. But that guy, That guy has all the reasons to live for. He has all the people to live for. And yet, all because he killed his own father in a glimpse of rage and accidentally did it, he wants to die as a form of atonement for his sins, which sickens me. He has a best friend. He has two good friends who care deeply about him. Not only that, he will even end up getting that of the love of his life. And yet he still wants to end up dying. He still wants to kill himself and die to atone for it. And it sickens me to the core. So killing Suzaku Kitaruji is on my bucket list in this world, besides taking down the Geass Order and Charles in V2. Guy wished for death, I'll give it to him. Just you watch. Would then continue flying off in the distance, heading back to the base, as the battle of the Shinjuku massacre was caught to an end, with that only a few fatalities on that of the Japanese side. And that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Let's read them. So, how did you guys like this fight? Unlike that of my, Gundam fic, where I kind of made it, basically one-sided, to be honest, because can you blame me? A Gundam against that of a Knightmare frame? Of course it's going to be one-sided. Armor cores aren't really that, are pretty damn fast, mobility, and quite strong too, but it depends on the armor core. Even that of a lightweight armor core like that of my Lynx would still basically would still take some pretty heavy damage, even with the shielding as well. And Raven, aka Jean, didn't want to take any chances. So of course, it's best not to take those chances just yet, especially with the Lancelot and somebody like Suzaku. But with all that, I'd say that the mission was a big success. So, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, keep to date my videos when I upload to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, gaming channel, main channel, other channel, Patreon, and Cash App. All linked in the description below if I'm not too lazy to do so. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, and hope you all take care.